Hello guys, today I'll be talking about Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time Season 2. If you haven't seen the previous season, I recommend clicking the link in the description. Now, let's dive into the details. Previously, upon learning about the attack on the human village and the pursuit of the girls who desire Peter, he takes charge of the Brave Swordsmen's Guild to counter the threat. Arriving at the village, they discover a horde of female goblins responsible for the invasion. These goblins seek human genes to reproduce, targeting male humans. The village men find themselves helpless against the formidable goblins, resorting to prayer. Utilizing his incredible strength, Peter single-handedly defeats a substantial number of goblins. The girls accompanying Peter, including the ogre sisters Lisa and Mimi, join the fight with their unique abilities. Lisa and Mimi create whirlwinds to vanquish enemies, while Vegan, an elf skilled in magic, and Piggled, a strong orc, engage the goblins using their individual strengths. Eventually, the group manages to apprehend the invading goblins, temporarily resolving the crisis. Post-battle, the girls request Peter's company as a reward for their valor. Amid their advances, Peter receives distressing news that his girlfriend, Luvelia, has been captured by another group of goblins. Urgently leaving the girls, Peter heads towards the goblin camp to rescue Luvelia. His might terrifies the goblins, who threaten Luvelia's safety to coerce him into surrendering. Despite Luvelia's pleas for escape, Peter yields to protect her, willingly becoming their captive. Unaware of the implications, Peter's actions catch the attention of a blue-haired goblin. Soon, Peter and Luvelia find themselves imprisoned together. He provides comfort to Luvelia, assuring her of his protection. Shortly after, the goblins take Peter away, intending to offer his genes to the Goblin Queen. During the process, Peter notices that the higher-ranked goblins tend to look more human-like. He hopes that the Goblin Queen, being a potential queen, would be beautiful and not of low rank. Unfortunately, the Goblin Queen turns out to be uglier than any goblin he's seen before. In despair, Peter reluctantly gives his genes. Moments later, Peter finds himself in a solitary cell with no way to escape. Just when he's in trouble, the blue-haired goblin appears and rescues him. Curiously, Peter asks why she saved him. Through their conversation, a past story unfolds. The blue-haired girl, Gabuko, was adopted by Peter and his sister Lucy when she was young. They lived happily together as a family until the human army captured Gabuko for goblin hunting. The Goblin Queen saved her. After sharing their past, they hug with excitement, wanting to be a family again. Peter decides he must leave with Luvelia and asks Gabuko for help, which she agrees to without hesitation. On the way to find Luvelia, Gabuko blushes and reveals that goblins go through a time every year when they crave having children. She tells Peter that she can only calm down by obtaining his genes. Meanwhile, warriors in the human village wait for Peter's return, suspecting he's been captured by goblins. They attempt a rescue mission into the goblin tribe and accidentally trigger a mechanism, leading them to a cave where they find Peter. The warriors inform Peter of their situation and discover that the renowned goblin hunter Kenji is also in the goblin camp, accompanied by two friendly goblins. The warriors, puzzled by non-aggressive goblins, ask Kenji for advice on how to make goblins less hostile. Kenji suggests that human males sleeping with goblins could restore their normal behavior. But before he can finish, he's hit by a stone, revealing that other goblins have surrounded them. As the warriors struggle to fend off goblin attacks, they urge Peter to quickly locate Luvelia. Guided by Gabuko, Peter locates the place where Luvelia is being held. However, right after they rescue her, the Goblin Queen suddenly appears. The Goblin Queen accuses Gabuko of betrayal and commands her subordinates to execute her. In a protective move, Peter shields Gabuko from the attacks, although he can't overcome the powerful Goblin Queen since he lacks weapons. He escapes with Luvelia and Gabuko. As they're on the brink of being caught by the Goblin Queen, the human army arrives in time with their superior numbers, defeating the goblins. After the battle, the human army orders the execution of all captured goblins to prevent further attacks on humans. Upon hearing this, Peter recalls how humans once took Gabuko away from him. He believes that killing won't resolve the conflict between humans and goblins, urging the two races to seek peaceful coexistence. A solution comes to his mind, one that Kenji mentioned, and he rushes to halt the goblins' execution. Peter confidently announces that he has a method to prevent goblins from attacking humans. He takes a goblin with him to sleep in a cave, and when they emerge, the goblin has become remarkably docile. This surprises everyone, leading them to follow Peter's example. Gradually, all the goblins become non-aggressive. Peter successfully resolves the dispute between humans and goblins in a peaceful manner, earning the adoration of all. An elaborate dinner is held in his honor in the evening. Peter indulges in drinks to relieve his battle fatigue and eventually becomes intoxicated. Upon waking up, he finds Gabuko asleep next to him. To his dismay, he also notices other girls in his room. He realizes that he slept with them while drunk and is overwhelmed with remorse. All of a sudden, Peter spots a letter in his room, a few days old, sent by his sister Lucy. The letter mentions Lucy's impending visit. Just after reading the letter, he hears Lucy's voice outside his door. Knowing Lucy's strong aversion to cheating men, Peter realizes he must keep the presence of these girls hidden from her. He hurriedly instructs the girls to conceal themselves and then opens the door to greet Lucy. While conversing with Lucy, Peter discovers that Lucy is aware of the marriage contract between him and Lovelia and has come to offer her congratulations. She excitedly shares that she recently located their father, who had abandoned them, and took personal revenge by ending his life. Lucy believes Peter should be as jubilant as she is, but Peter forces a fake smile. He begins to worry that if Lucy finds out about the girls in his room, his fate might mirror that of their father's. Peter's fears come to fruition swiftly. Lucy observes various feminine items in his room, including hair that doesn't seem to belong to Lovelia. Convinced that Peter is being unfaithful, Lucy attacks him vigorously with her sword. Her strength overwhelms Peter, who dashes around desperately. In his dire straits, he spots the cupboard where Gabuko is concealed. An idea strikes him, and he opens the cupboard, presenting Gabuko to Lucy. He falsely claims that Gabuko is a surprise he arranged for Lucy and that the items she noticed are Gabuko's belongings. After Lucy verifies Gabuko's identity, she becomes emotional and tears up. At that moment, she is inclined to believe Peter's explanation. Meanwhile, the other girls are hiding by the window, observing Lucy's hesitation to leave Peter's room. Anxious that their time with Peter might be limited, they orchestrate a plan. Piglet is tasked with descending outside and circling back to the main entrance of the room. She pretends to be a member of the Brave Swordsman's Guild, approaching Lucy with false claims of having heard about Lucy's impressive strength and inviting her to join the guild. Piglet's sudden appearance makes Lucy suspicious. She pretends to accept Piglet's invitation but discreetly plants a listening device in Peter's room before leaving. After some time, Lucy is gone, and the girls hiding on the balcony come out. They enthusiastically embrace Peter, ignoring his attempts to resist. They playfully claim they won't let him escape. However, Lucy suddenly bursts into the room. Upon seeing the girls, she assumes Peter is being unfaithful. As Peter tries to explain, Lucy plays the recorded conversation, leaving Peter speechless. Furious, Lucy relentlessly pursues Peter, showing no mercy. Fortunately, Gabuko intervenes, falsely stating that the girls are undergoing combat training with Peter. Lucy is taken aback, realizing that the recorded sound indeed resembles combat training. With Gabuko's explanation, Lucy eventually believes Peter's innocence. In the ensuing days, Lucy dedicates her time to practicing combat skills at the guild. This gives the other girls the opportunity to approach Peter. However, they notice something unusual. No matter how hard they try to tempt Peter, he doesn't react. They suspect that Lucy's arrival has put too much pressure on him, causing these physical changes. In an attempt to alleviate Peter's stress, they take him to a water paradise. Donning swimsuits, the girls look charming and attractive. Surprisingly, Peter remains unaffected and seeks solitude in a small room. Unbeknownst to him, the girls are aware of his intentions and await him there to offer a massage and some peace and quiet. However, Peter's body remains unresponsive. This incident fills Peter with despair, prompting him to take a frustrated bath. Vegan catches up with him and attempts to console him. Suddenly, they detect a peculiar scent in the air. Vegan identifies it as elven magic, but before she can react, both she and Peter lose consciousness. Upon awakening, Peter finds himself in the elven village. Suspicious of his surroundings, he encounters an elven girl named Frutalia. She reveals that she brought him here on a mission to conceive a powerful child with Peter and save the declining elves. Frutalia makes advances towards Peter, but he vehemently resists, asserting that his body won't respond. To verify his claim, Frutalia casts a spell on him, instantly adorning Peter's body with a purple pattern, rendering him extremely sensitive. Peter's body finally responds, and Frutalia seems close to achieving her goal. Meanwhile, back at the water paradise, Vegan awakens to realize Peter is missing. She deduces that Peter was taken to the elven village through recent magic and rushes there. The other girls, concerned for Vegan's safety, attempt to follow but end up getting lost. In the elven village, Vegan witnesses Frutalia teasing Peter. Swiftly, Vegan casts magic on Frutalia, causing her to become equally sensitive. This halts Frutalia's actions towards Peter. The spell can only be lifted by the caster, granting Peter the chance to escape the elven village with Vegan. They find refuge in a nearby forest to rest. After taking a break, Peter turns to Vegan with a question. He notices similarities between Frutalia and Vegan in both personality and appearance, which prompts his curiosity about their relationship. Vegan lets out a sigh and proceeds to share a story from their past. Vegan reveals that she and Frutalia are actually sisters, but they frequently clashed. A major dispute erupted when Vegan consumed Frutalia's cherished pudding, nearly leading to the ruin of their elven village. The incident led to their separation, and they had to pay significant reparations for the village's damage, resulting in a massive debt. In order to repay the debt, Frutalia made an agreement with her creditor to conceive a child with Peter, recognized as the world's strongest man. However, not wanting Frutalia to bear the burden alone, Vegan decided to conceive a child with Peter before Frutalia. Upon hearing this, Peter suggests that Vegan should apologize openly to Frutalia and seek reconciliation. Inspired by Peter's words, Vegan accompanies him back to the elven village. Despite her arrogance, when Vegan apologizes to Frutalia, she does so with a sour expression, inadvertently sparking a misunderstanding. This leads to a confrontation between them, and their evenly matched magical abilities prevent either from gaining an upper hand in the duel. In a crucial moment, Vegan recalls Frutalia's heightened sensitivity and uses playful teasing to immobilize her. Vegan then plans to unleash a potent spell to end the conflict, prompting Peter to intervene and resolve the dispute. He discloses Vegan's intention to conceive his child first, shouldering the responsibility of repaying Frutalia's debts. Learning the truth, Frutalia is deeply moved by Vegan's actions, and with Peter's mediation, they eventually reconcile. Peter feels a sense of accomplishment and pride in his role, but he overlooks the fact that Vegan and Frutalia still need to fulfill their debt obligations urgently. As they resolve their differences, they compel Peter to share intimate moments with them. Just as this unfolds, the group of lost girls arrives at the elven village. Discovering Peter in a compromising situation with two elf girls, the girls become furious and demand to join. Peter, weakened and outnumbered, becomes subject to the girls' whims. Unbeknownst to Peter, a plot is brewing against him in the Brave Swordsman's Guild. Luvelia's father is conspiring to force Peter to break up with Luvelia. As Peter returns to the guild, he promptly receives a task assigned by Luvelia's father. The covenant between the guild and the dwarven village is nearing its end, and Peter is tasked with signing a new agreement while safeguarding the guild's cherished ancestral sword. Luvelia's father promises that if Peter returns with the sword intact after sealing the covenant, he will no longer oppose Peter's relationship with Luvelia. When the situation becomes critical, Peter and Mithlim arrive just in time. With an axe in hand, Peter effortlessly cleaves the monster in two, earning cheers from everyone except for Luvelia's father. He seems determined to create difficulties for Peter and questions why he isn't carrying the holy sword. Uncertain how to respond, Peter explains that the sword required lengthy repairs. To ensure their prompt arrival, he had Mithlim forge the sword into an axe, a simpler task. Peter further adds that this modification was to rectify the unequal terms of the covenant, allowing dwarves to exchange their forging skills for warrior protection. The recent battle showcased the value of the dwarves' craftsmanship. Peter's selfless words touch nearly everyone, leading to calls for revising the covenant. Under pressure from the crowd, Luvelia's father is compelled to amend the covenant according to Peter's request, resulting in a new agreement. After the event concludes, Luvelia expresses her desire to go on an outing with Peter for relaxation. However, her father vehemently opposes this idea. Tired of being controlled by her father, Luvelia boldly suggests escaping the guild together. Peter, who finds himself surrounded by persistent guild girls in Mithlim, faces a dilemma. However, he ultimately agrees to Luvelia's proposal, seeking refuge and embarking on a journey with her. This time, they can enjoy unrestricted travel without interference from others. And so, the story comes to a close. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel, Annie Explainer.